Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a fantastic piece of gear that should be making waves in the knife community. The Kunwu Knives Stiffy P. What a name there. First off, let's talk about the specs. This knife measures 6.72 inches long with a 2.98 inch drop point blade made from premium Vanadis 8 steel. Vanadis 8 is a high performance steel. It's a non-stainless powdered metallurgy steel, somewhat comparable to steels like CPM 10V and one of my favorites, Bowler K390. So this one should have great edge retention, good wear resistance, and good toughness. This blade shape should be fairly versatile. Being that it's short, you should be able to get the tip down if you want to do some fine precision cuts, or if you wanted to do some piercing cuts, you could do that as well. This particular variation features a heavy blasted stonewash finish. Probably not the smartest for a non-stainless, being that tends to open pores some. So this is probably going to be my winter carry down here in the south, where we have very high humidity. But not to worry, there are variants with satin finish. After testing this one, I immediately went buy a second one, and the one that I bought has a black DLC finish, which Kunwu does such a good job, and purple G10 scales. This blade is going to be perfect for a wide range of tasks. You have a beautiful crown spine wrapping all the way around the perimeter of the tang of the blade. Feels really nice in hand. I love a good crown spine. I think it adds a nice touch, giving it a more luxurious feel. You also have a row of jimping here that's nice and effective. It does its job. It's not overly aggressive, but it does grab a hold of the thumb when you push down on it hard enough. So that's all you can really ask for. I would have liked to see a small row of jimping here for doing the drag cuts, just to give you a little bit extra traction there. And as you can see, you do have a forward finger choil. It could be a oversized sharpening choil for you, but I can creep up right there, especially when I have gloves on. And that's where I sat most of the time when I was doing in-hand cuts. But it would have been nice if this would have went back just a little bit further, maybe bring the handle out just a little bit. But my medium-sized hands, I can cram 4 fingers back here if I want to be away from that edge. But as you can see, you're a good ways away from that edge. So that's why I crept up here. And if you're up here in this choil area, it should fit your large hands as well. I'm not too sure about XL hands, but do have a hidden lanyard post in the back right here. I like the way they did that. That way the lanyard's sitting out here, not on the side to where it's in the palm of your hand or anything. Because of this large choil area right here, you should have tons of sharpening life before to widen up. It looks like that plunge comes to about, looks like it starts to thicken up to about right there where my fingernail is. So you should have a ton of sharpening life. And being this is in Vanadis 8, you shouldn't have to sharpen it all that much, obviously depending on how much you use your knives. You have a flat saber grind here that is ground nice and thin to around 12 thousandths behind the edge. So this one should be a fantastic slicer. We're going to find out. One thing I've always liked about Kunwu is the fact that he's a knife enthusiast like we are, and he really likes to try different steels. He likes to give us performance steels with performance heat treats, and that's exactly what we're seeing with the Stiffy P. This is in Vanadis 8 steel. I've never tested this particular steel before, I don't believe, not that I can recall, but it's supposed to be somewhat similar to 10V and one of my favorites, K390. So if that is the case, it should perform great. And after talking with the owner of Kunwu, he said basically what the Stiffy P is supposed to be like is going to be kind of like a test bed, kind of like Spyderco does with the Mule Team. And I think it's genius. So he can test out these new steels to see if he thinks it'd be good in a folder. And I think the Vanadis was the first. I could be wrong. There might have been another one, but yeah, I'm for it. You know, especially at the price point with the high performance steel. I love that. That's what I'm all about. And so far, I've been loving this one. I threw a whole bunch of extra cardboard in here just to get some extra cuts in, because it came screaming sharp. Now, that is a factory edge. After I finish all this testing, I'm going to put my own edge on it and maybe even lay the edge bevel back even more, depending on where it's at. But now we're testing the ergos, and I'm creeped up in that forward choil area. You know, I do wish the choil area was a little bit bigger, but it's not bad. It was pretty darn comfortable, especially you got extra thickness in the scales that are nice and contoured. The micarta is nice and grippy, and I could have done this for a long period of time, and that's kind of what you want to see in a fixed blade, at least in my opinion. You don't want a super skinny handle, because I usually go for my fixed blades when I'm needing comfort, or if I might be abusing it a little bit more than I would a folder. But after the first cut into this 1/2 inch of rope, the edge is not only sharp, it has that nice toothiness, that nice bite that I'm looking for. And you can see I'm using that index finger grip. That right there just is an indication right away of how sharp this one is out of box. And I don't know if they sharpen these on a belt or not. They may hand sharpen them. I doubt it. You know, that's not the most cost-effective thing to do as far as time-wise. So you're probably going to get even better performance after you put your first 2 or 3 edges on it yourself. It'll probably continue to get better and better. That's at least what I'll be testing out. And look, spoiler, I liked the performance on this one so much. I like the size on this one. I like the comfort that I've already bought a new one. When I saw these are back in stock, I wanted to get one that would be a little bit more conducive to my environment, being that Vanadis 8 is not a stainless. You do have to take care of it. And I happen to get a blasted bladed version, so this will be my wintertime carry, and the one that I ordered has their awesome DLC, black DLC coating with the purple G10, so I cannot wait to get that one. That one will be my summertime carry. And I can just see, I can see definitely more Stiffy Ps in my future, especially if he does other steels, because I just love the size. Of course, there's a few little minor tweaks I would have loved to see, and I may pass those along to him, see what he thinks about it. He's always open to suggestions to make things better for the end user, and I have a couple. You know, not that he'll actually do them unless he thinks, you know, they would be conducive to the design. But yeah, there's something about this design that I just like, and you know, I think at the price for the plain Jane version at $129, I think that's an excellent price. If you look up some of these EDC fixed blades with high performance steels, they're not cheap. So yeah, and even though the tip's a little higher than I usually want, you can see I can still use that tip to make the drag cuts because it's a shorter blade, so it's easier to get it down onto materials. But it didn't struggle with anything. It blasted through everything. I thought the blasted finish would cause a little drag. Nah. Outstanding job. I cannot wait to see what steels he uses later down the road. I really hope he keeps with this. I'm sure it's just going to depend on how well this idea works. And so far, I think it's working good. They sold out several times already. I thought it performed great. I'm kind of interested to see if it has any edge left to it. It feels like it does, but that can be deceiving sometimes. Let's try a slow cut first into this thin phone book paper. It's got a few minor catches, but look at that. In the front where I thought it would definitely be dulled out because of the sisal rope, it's still good. Look, right here at the front, look at that. No snags or anything. I could probably strap that back really easily, but fast cut, you probably would notice it, as you can see there. So yeah, it still has a fantastic edge, and I can't wait to get some use on it after I put my own edge on it. As far as the ergonomics on this one, you have nice thick scales. It kind of swells out right here. Nice contouring, as you can see. The edges are softened, so there's no sharp areas, and it was extremely comfortable. Your thickness at this swell right here comes in at 0.64, so above average. Most folding knives have about a 1/2 inch thick scales, and on my fixed blades, I love them to be over a 1/2 inch because depending on how thick, but the thicker they are, the more comfortable they are, especially if they're contoured and thick. If it's going to fill out the hand better, You're not going to have to squeeze it as tight to keep it from twisting in the hand. I was able to apply a lot of force in the hammer grip, especially in this choke up spot. It was comfortable. They rounded over everything. You have that crowning everywhere, so everything's nice and comfortable, nice and contoured. Saber grip, you kind of got to like choke back on the saber grip, so I would have either liked to see this jimping come out a little farther, and I would have loved to see a small row of fine cut jimping right here by that tip, so I can control that tip even better. But the drag cuts I've done, it was perfectly fine. I just think it would be a nice added touch. You have some jimps back here. I guess if you were holding the knife like this, but not something I do really ever. But if you do, it is comfortable because of the way this rounds over in the back. And the pull grip is nice and comfortable as well because you can actually sit on this spot. It's not uncomfortable, and I can get a good bit of force this way. Nothing pinching, poking, prodding me. This micarta, if you look close, you have a very fine micro milling on these edges. And then if you look close, that fine micro milling is all the way right here. You can kind of hear it. Perfect amount of grip. And if micarta is not your thing, they also have G10 variations. Like I said, the one that I just ordered has the black DLC blade and purple G10. I think it looks nice, and I cannot wait to get that one in. That's going to be my summertime carry. The satin one looked nice as well. I think I will wait till he does another steel to get the satin one. If this one's a little smaller for you, he had a bigger fixed blade. I don't know if it's still available or not. It looked interesting, but it's a little bit bigger than I like to EDC. When it comes to the carry, it comes with a nice fold-over taco-style kydex sheath. I love how minimal it is. You got several spots to put lashing on it. I think one soft loop would work great on this. You got a nice little ramp push off right there. I put a 3x3 Alti clip on there. That's just the way I like to carry it because I like to clip it to the inside of my pocket, kind of like I do in my pocket knives, and it works perfect for that. You know, you will have a good bit sticking out, but a lot of times it buries in there pretty well. If I wanted to, I could also slide this that way. It would just, I'd have to make sure I could still get my hand in there. Of course, it would be nice to get a kydex to where it comes to about right here and you could have a lanyard there to pull it out. That way it buries deeper in the pocket. But I'm not going to complain because I enjoyed the sheath. You do get a nice kydex sheath, nice push off, nice retention. Now, mine did come with a little bit of rattle, something I could probably easily fix, and I have tons of fixed blades that have kydex sheaths that came with a little rattle. It's just, you know, the nature of the beast with kydex, especially I noticed the thinner the kydex, that usually happens more often. But I'll have to let y'all know how my new one is when it comes in. You have a small little drainage hole. It would be nice to have that a little bit bigger, maybe go all the way through, especially being this is not a stainless. So the way I've been carrying it is in my lightweight shorts because yes, it is December and we're still in shorts. We have a cold spell right now, but it's only gonna last for like 2 days. I hate our weather. But as you can see with this shirt on, you can't even see the fixed blade, you know, and that's what I meant by whenever I'm wearing these lightweight shorts, a lot of times it'll bury itself in there. And even with these light fishing shorts, I did not even feel this in the pocket any more than I would one of my folders. And that's what I like about these EDC Fixed Blades. So it's fairly easy. I just pull it out like that, and it's got a little ramp, like I said. I can pull it out, use it. And then what I do in my shorts, being that, you know, it'll conform to it, I kind of just pop it up like that just so I can see. I like to be able to see where I'm sticking the knife and then go about my business. And like I said, it carries well. When I sit down, it doesn't print anything because it's not a super long sheath or anything. I give this an A+. No, we'll give it an A- being that it has a little bit of rattle to the sheath. Not something I love, something I can fix rather easily, so I'll just fix it. And the weight on this one is 4.54 ounces. I found it to be manageable. You got to also remember I have a metal Alti clip on there, so that's going to add a little bit extra weight. That weight for a fixed blade is perfectly acceptable for me. Now it's time for some size comparisons. It's just about identical in length to the Artisan Sea Snake, and it's just a hair longer than the Essie Azula 2. Next, it's just a hair shorter than the Creeley Mako, and it's a little bit bigger than the Kaiser Smolt. And it's also just a hair longer than both the Smith & Sons Axiom and the Reef Knives F3. It's also a little shorter than both the Vosteed Mink and the White River M1. And lastly, it's a little shorter than the Ontario Rat Model 2, and it's identical in length to the Benchmade Mini Grip. Well, no knife's perfect, so let's talk about some nitpicks and complaints. I would have loved to see this sharpening choil a little bit bigger, just so it could fit more people's fingers. It would have been awesome to have a small row of grippy jimping here to do the drag cuts, but it works just fine without it. Lastly, it came a little loose in the kydex. Not the end of the world, not a deal breaker for me. It still holds it in there nicely. I just would have preferred it to have a little bit tighter fit. So when it comes to this knife, it's not just for everyday carry. It could also be an excellent option as a hunting knife, hiking, camping. It's lightweight enough, combined with sharpness and versatility, make this a reliable tool for various outdoor activities. In summary, the Kunwu Knives Stiffy P is a well-rounded, versatile knife that excels in everyday carry and outdoor situations. Its premium blade steel, build quality, sharpness out of box, and comfortable ergos make it a standout option in this price range. If you're in the market for a reliable, high-performance fixed blade, I highly recommend checking this one out. If you're interested in this one, I will have it linked down below. It will be an affiliate link, so if you want to help support what I do here on this channel, that helps me pay for those testing materials. If not, no big deal. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification for more in-depth knife and gear reviews. And let me know your thoughts on the Kunwu Stiffy P in the comments below. Until next time, keep those knives sharp, smile more. Hey, yes!